We're here today for the first episode of Fringe Toast. It's going to be a very lighthearted, sort of fun take on the paranormal, the conspiracy theories, the extraterrestrials, all the...
I mean, that's what
Fringe.
I use it for anyway.
I mean, it's the best way to eat it, right?
Right.
So I thought the best way to introduce ourselves to you guys and to everybody else is to kind of tell our own experiences with the paranormal, with UFO, with whatever. Let's get to know us, so to speak. So you want to start with your story? You want me to start with my story? How do you want to do this?
Well, I don't. So I don't have a whole lot of. When you say paranormal, are you talking about specifically like ghosts and things like that?
I'm talking about anything that happens that can't be explained.
Okay. So I've seen a couple of ghosts in my life. My parents are, when I say ghost, a spirit, an entity, something. I've seen, one, like, just as it was disappearing, just as it was like I woke up and it just vanished right next to it. It was at my grandmother's house. Which my parents had reported that they had experienced several things there. So maybe that was, maybe there was subconsciously that thing implanted in the back of my head. My grandmother had passed away
Maybe
shortly before that. So I don't know. But maybe that was just something that I was experiencing coming out of a dream. Like
that dream state can be weird. So yeah.
Right. There's a lot of science that is wrapped around that whole.
Oh yeah.
Well, sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I would imagine that maybe there is some quantifiable potential for that to explain that occurrence. The other thing that happened right down the road here. I was under the influence of something. So like
how good stories start, right? We were having some fun.
I was under the influence. So there again, there's another situation where I don't know how much water that experience holds. But how it went was, my friends and I were sitting at the end of our very long driveway, and at the end of our very long driveway, so began a very long road. And along this road are street lights that are on left and right hand side of the road. And then we could clearly see a car coming down the road underneath these street lights, and as it reached the point where it would enter our driveway and begin coming up the driveway, the car disappeared. There was just gone.
That's awesome.
So I seen this happen and I didn't believe what I saw. So I just was like, oh, well, this is some pretty powerful stuff and just wrapped it up as that. But my brother, he from the back seat said, "Did you just fucking see that?" And I was like, "I most certainly did. I did. So we all were freaking out. My brother and my friend Cole, who was with us at the time as well. We all experienced that. Other things that can't be. I only seen something that I can call a UFO on one occasion, and I actually caught that on film, and it's on Whom It May, the Whom It May YouTube page. By the way, that's where I'm from. If you guys want to go over there and check it out,
definitely check it out. It's awesome. A lot of cool stuff.
That's the extent of my experience. Now, my interest in those things goes way far and above and beyond. So how about you, man? Have you got any stories to tell?
Oh, I've got too many to tell on that. I have had so many weird, unexplainable, odd things happen that let's start. We'll go start with UFO first. I've seen two that I know of for a fact. I saw one. I was a teenager in New York. I was taking a bag of trash out, and I'm sure we all are familiar with the 90s triangle-shaped UFO thing that was very popular at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one of those taking the trash out, and the only thing that made me think it wasn't an airplane is it started in one spot in the sky, went to another super fast, jumped to another like instantaneously, and then was gone just that quick. Maybe the B-50 or whatever those bombers were, the stealth bombers, maybe, but even those couldn't move that fast then. So that kind of leads me to it's probably not one of those planes. And the other one, same time frame, roughly a few years later, friends and I were out walking the neighborhood where we lived, and all of a sudden we come up to this fence line, and there's just this weird green glowing light, and kept going from like green to blue to white. Nobody wanted to go explore it. I don't know what it was, but it was in the woods behind a fence line, and we just kind of left it there and kind of walked away going, I don't know what it is. Gonna leave it alone. Don't want to fuck with it. Now, paranormal. I've had a lot of paranormal in this house specifically. When we moved into this house about 6 years ago, the room we're in now was the kids' playroom, and there was a bunch of toys and stuff in here. And one day I come home from work, all of the toys in this room are in our bedroom across the hall. Talk. All of them were there. And called my wife. I'm like, sweetie, why were the kids' toys in our bedroom? Did you let the kids drag them over there? No, we've been gone all day. We're never home. She's like, I don't know how that happened. We haven't been there. So I'm like, okay. So I chalked that up to maybe the kids came up here. I don't know. Who knows? About a week later.
I used to do that when I was a kid, so that kind of makes sense.
Right. You can see kids doing that. So yeah, kind of let that one be.
Like, yeah. So I took my toys into my parents' room. Now there's a lot of people that are of an older generation, like Generation X or Generation, the Boomers. They probably are having they'd probably have a very difficult time conceiving something like that. But I think that was much more common in the 90s and
I think so.
80s. That was, it was okay.
So right, so didn't think anything of that necessarily. A week later, roughly, I'm a huge fan of edged weapons, knives, swords, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a bunch of them up in the top of my closet where my kids still can't reach. They couldn't reach it then, and that was 5 years ago. My oldest is 9, so there's no way she's getting up in the top of that closet. Come home, and one of my more decorative ones that actually has an edge is laying on my bed, pointed perfectly straight at my pillow. Again, call the wife. Why are the kids playing with those knives? That one's incredibly sharp. Again, they're not home. They were gone all day long at a friend's house. So that one, I think, leads a little bit more credibility to it being something else. I don't know. Paranormal, whatever you want to call it. The one that really blows me, the one that really fucks with my head, the dining room used to be a kid's playroom. We have a lot of toys. Our kids had many playrooms at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They had this little purse toy that would open and make a zipping noise and stuff. And one night after they go to bed, it starts making the unzip noise that it makes. And it kept going off and kept going off and kept going off. So I go in there, I'm going to turn it off. I turn it off, put it down, walk away. It starts doing it again. So the damn thing's broken. So I go in there, I'm going to take the batteries out and make it stop. Open up the back, take the battery thing off. There's no batteries in that damn thing. None. So that freaked me out. I threw it in the garage and kind of shut the door and let it stay till it quit making noises.
That's pretty bizarre.
That was weird. That one kind of freaked me out.
So you said some things that triggered some other memories. Have you got more?
I do. Well, nothing other than we've got footsteps in this house constantly up here in this hallway. We've got doors that'll shut by themselves. I did the other day have a really weird thing happen in my bathroom. I was getting out of the shower, and we've got one of those little swinging doors. It's not a curtain, it's just a shower stall. So it's got one of those swinging doors that's got a magnet on it. And if you don't shut it all the way, the magnet kind of won't engage. It'll just kind of hang there a little bit. And that happened, and it just didn't shut all the way. So I'm out, and I'm drying off. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that door just opens up so hard, it slams against the wall and ricochets back. That one scared the shit out of me because it shouldn't have done that. There's no breeze, there's nothing in there that would cause it to forcefully open like that.
Sorry, I keep fiddling with the mic. I hope that it doesn't cause you a problem in the future.
Editing's a beautiful thing.
So my comments to that, like, do you think it's that possibly because that maybe you might be stirring that up a little bit? Because I think you've been talking, because we've been talking about doing this, it's more likely that that type of thing has been on your mind a little bit more.
Probably.
Recently.
I wouldn't doubt that.
And maybe you've been speaking about those things, and maybe that whomever, whatever this may be, is like, oh, this is my time. This is my time to shine.
You say that, and last night we were outside talking, my wife and I, and as we're coming in the door, I see a light shine on the bottom of our door that is like bright orange, like a orange flashlight. Mm-hmm. And she didn't obviously have anything. I didn't have anything. And it just was for a split second, just kind of there and gone. So I don't know. I might have been tired and have been seeing things. I don't know, but it happened.
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but and there again, I almost want to credit it to the fact that we have been talking about this a lot this week. And I mean, I'll be real with you. This is on my mind a lot anyway, but
me too.
It's been on my mind more this week than typical. And while I was sitting downstairs talking to you and your wife, I could have swore that I'd seen something over here. It wasn't one of the kids, because they make themselves very known.
Yeah, very much so.
They're not.
They don't sneak at all.
They're not stealthy.
Nope.
But I just caught it out of my peripheral. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think maybe we might be waking this thing up.
I hope so, because I know for a fact whatever's in here, I know there's something here. I know there's something in this house, but it's not evil. It's not bad. It doesn't want to harm anything. If anything, it wants to just communicate and say, hey, I'm here. I'm important too, kind of type thing. I wholeheartedly think that whatever it is just wanting to communicate and be known more than anything else.
I think that's mostly what they want. I would agree with you in that statement for sure. And maybe there's a little bit of curiosity too. Like, I think there might be an element of that. I think there's a potential that there might be voyeuristic. Am I saying the correct word? Mm-hmm. I feel like I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. Voyeuristic?
Voyeurism is awesome. It's fun.
From these paranormal, these ghosts or spirits, whether or not to be that of the deceased or that of a parallel dimension, or maybe just a dimension that we can't see into.
The fourth dimension.
The fourth dimension.
That's always a fascinating topic.
Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of thing. That's another one of the kind of things that we're going to be talking about.
Yes, definitely.
Another thing that I want to use this platform, and thank you very much for inviting me to be on and do this show with you, Fringe Toast. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is parapsychology.
Oh, fascinating.
And the combativeness between that and like skepticism, and like there's this, and how those two things go hand in hand. The skepticism actually keeps the other thing, the psi community. It keeps them honest.
Oh yeah.
I've been reading some stuff in regard to all that. I didn't realize that West Georgia College, right down the road from us here, has a parapsychology program. That blew my mind, man.
Yeah, and we talked about this. My wife actually knew the lady that runs that department.
Right.
That was a crazy coincidence.
That was a huge coincidence, man, because I'd spent the weekend before that kind of diving into who this lady is.
Super nice lady, by the way. Really, really nice.
She's got seminars and stuff on YouTube. You should.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you
I'm
should
gonna check that out. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, what do you think the parasite? How do you think that those are? How is that driven? Like, what is the power behind that force? Is it a legit thing? Is it mind over matter? Is it? What is there to that? I've always been fascinated by it, but I don't understand it, if that makes sense.
If there's any credibility to it at all, then I think it comes from the pituitary gland of the human brain.
You think so?
The mind's eye, yes. That's how we're able to see into that other dimension. I think that we have to be accessing that has to be connected to some information that we're not seeing in our physical realm. If there is, and like I said, if there is indeed any credibility to it at all, it is stemmed from there, I think.
I wonder if it's not driven by quantum physics and quantum mechanics. How in that theory, and I'm not an expert on this by any stretch, so don't write me hate mail if I get this wrong, but the idea of, please don't, but the idea that, like quantum entanglement, how one particle can interact with another particle light years apart. Could that not be something to that, where we can manipulate a particle, because you can entangle particles they can actually physically entangle them themselves. They're either come that way or we figured out we can entangle them. Mm-hmm. Do you think that our pituitary gland has the potential and the power to do that on its own and then manipulate that molecule level of whatever you're trying to move or bend or influence in some way?
I mean, if there is any credibility, like I said, if there is any credibility to it, it has something to do with the pituitary gland, and maybe it does. That was a very deep explanation, much deeper than I'll have the ability to even comprehend at the moment.
Yeah.
I think you overestimate me, man.
That's how my mind works, man. I go really weird with things.
Well, no. It's going to take me a minute to analyze what you said at all.
It is kind of late in the night, so that's okay.
But I'm burning at the end of my fuse. But I did want to participate in the conversation and let all of you folks know that we are here. This is welcome to Fringe Toast.
So, given the fact that I think Bobby is kind of burning the end of his candle here, and we're not going to keep him too late, and otherwise we may start getting some really weird conversations.
I think we're already there.
I think we are too. But so what are some of the things that we're planning on doing? I know for me, I kind of see this as an opportunity to indulge a side of myself that I've kind of kept dormant for a while, that will now allow me to look into a lot of the things that are just fascinating. I want to go to some places around here, West Georgia, that have been known paranormal spots and do some investigating, some looking around, just indulge in that weird side of me, as well as...
Oh, by the way, okay, so you're talking about places that we need to go. Again, I was under the influence a lot whenever I was younger, folks. a lot. And so a lot of my experiences starts with I was really high.
A pattern emerges.
So I'm sorry. That's just the truth of the matter.
I mean, we've all got those. Every good story starts with "Here, hold my beer."
Right.
So that's just your version of "hold my beer."
I was really stoned, and so I was over a buddy's house and in not Mirror Lake, Fairfield. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly. We almost bought a house there. That place is nice.
It is very nice. It has a private lake for the citizens that live inside. It's a gated community.
3 private lakes.
Right.
Yeah. That's how nice it is. They've got 3 lakes and their own restaurant, FYI.
I told you earlier that I'd only seen one UFO that I could classify as a UFO, but that was not true. I've seen 2. Well, no, 3 total. 2 more other than the one that I've already mentioned. One being in Fairfield, and it was a very interesting happening. I went there to visit a friend. We had dinner. We stepped out to the back porch to do the things that you do on back porches at night.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, low hanging, not making any noises, lights.
Oh,
just floating. No, it wasn't a helicopter. Helicopters sound like helicopters.
They have a typical noise, yeah.
Right. No noise. Just right over the trees. And nobody else behaved as if though this was out of the normal.
That would be a little bit creepy.
That was very creepy for me, man.
When you're not responding to something that weird, that's...
Nobody else was behaving as if this was out of the ordinary. So, maybe we should look into Fairfield Plantation?
I think we might have a hard time getting in there, though.
I know that.
I mean, we could sneak, maybe.
I've gotten in there a number of times.
So you know how to do it, so we're all set.
I don't know, man, if I still got the skill set. That was a long time ago.
Say old age does set in quick.
I don't know. Like, I just don't have the tricks that I had before.
That's okay. I have got a long list, and it's growing by the day of places to go check out.
I mean, we're getting in there, but I would try to. I think I would prefer to go about it. I don't want to sneak around about it. I want to go in there legitimately.
I mean, yeah, preferably, but I know they're very guarded in there in what they'll let in, so it might be a bit of a challenge.
I have friends that I think we.
Well, there we go. Friends are always good.
I got friends and on the other side of the fence.
There we go.
I was going to say in low places, but
that wouldn't be a low place.
No. It's on the other side of town.
We are definitely at the other side of the tracks here if we're going to go that route, which is okay. I'm okay with being on this side of the tracks.
Right.
More fun.
It is more fun.
But that's kind of the goal of this, guys. I don't want to be one of those channels that gives you crap that is scary for no reason, that plays the ominous music, although I am going to put some ominous music in some stuff just for fun. But I don't want to be that guy that does that creepy voice talking about the ghost that bothered this person. I don't want to do that. Everybody does that.
1912, there was a man.
Yeah.
That,
everybody's doing that. That's
this woman chopped up her husband with a...
That's my wife. No, we're not going to go down that road. Not me. Hold on. Not me. She's fascinated by that type of stuff. Although maybe me, depending on how pissed off I make her.
Well, there's always a backstory too. There's always a history to it, the paranormal. So right, so there's always an idea of who that might be, and typically it does have an elaborate story.
Typically,
Mrs. Winchester owned the house in San Jose, California.
Dude, the Winchester house.
Yeah,
I'd love to go check that out.
That's a long way away.
It's a long drive, but that would be so cool.
I think. Who knows how far we're going to go with this? I think we could probably see us. Definitely for sure, we're going to Elberton, Georgia, to see the Georgia Guidestones. I think it's also, I'd like to reach out to some contacts. I think there's some news growing in regards to those Guidestones. My mouth I got to start bringing bottled water up here with us. This happens to me every time.
I don't have one. I used to keep one up here. I don't need more.
I'll buy you a mini fridge. Oh,
Mini fridge would be awesome up here.
oh. I don't know. They're probably pretty expensive right now because college is kicking off.
Yeah, probably wait another few months.
At the end of the semester, they'll go on sale.
Craigslist.
Right?
No, Craigslist isn't even a thing anymore, is it?
Well, Let Go or
I don't know.
Facebook Marketplace.
That's where I look for everything.
I tell you what, you can find anything.
You really can. That's the scary part. It's kind of terrifying what you can find on there.
All right.
Find body parts. I don't know.
I'm not looking.
I'm not either.
So
yet.
how are we closing this thing down?
I don't know. How are we closing it down?
I don't know.
I don't either. How about we close it down with, for now, stay tuned for more fascinating, weird, crazy, paranormal, extraterrestrial,
Fringe
UFO,
toast,
fringed stuff.
Fringe Toast. That's what. It's fringe. It's strange. It's bizarre. It's on the fringes of your reality. That's
it. We'll be back soon. Hopefully soon.
absolutely.